Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
Head of the UN investigation team, Peter Fitzgerald, is establishing direct contact with the Lebanese government in his pursuit to unmask the details of the assassination of former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik al-Hariri. Fitzgerald heads a team of 4 experts sent out by the United Nations. After meeting with the Lebanese Minister of Justice and Interior, Fitzgerald commented, saying that he will speak to anyone who will assist in the investigation.
With confidence and a sense of urgency, the United Nations team is paving the way to begin their investigation in Beirut to uncover the details of the assassination of former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik al-Hariri. First, they established direct contact with the Lebanese government. The head of the team met with the Lebanese Ministers of Interior and Justice in order to decide the direction he will pursue. The 4-member team may expand depending on the future needs of the investigation, which is scheduled to start tomorrow.
I look forward to working closely with the Lebanese authorities and to learning about their progress in investigating this terrible crime. We will also continue to speak to others who might assist us to fulfill our mandate.
It is clear that the team will not only investigate the technicalities and method of the assassination, but they will investigate all sides of the incident, seeking the knowledge of international political experts to evaluate all possible motives leading to the assassination.
كان اجتماعا بناء تم الاتفاق بموجبه على خطة العمل.
We had a constructive meeting, and we agreed on a working plan. We will support the team dispatched by the United Nations Security General in compliance with a statement issued by the Security Council, which states that the Lebanese Authority will conduct the investigation and that it will not hesitate to assist, cooperate, and coordinate with the United Nations investigation team.
وتتعاون معه في كافة المجالات.
حتى الآن لا يزال الغموض يحيط بما إذا كان هناك نفق.
Until now, there is speculation whether or not there was a tunnel under the road facilitating the attack. Meanwhile, mystery surrounds 2 people. One of them was found dead, and there isn't a trace of the second man. It is anticipated that the investigation team will not produce a final report until several weeks from now. The countdown to the investigation has already begun. Will there be a surprise? And will they be able to solve the crime? How far will the investigation go? Will the investigation team reveal the identity of the assassins? Or will they only produce a logistical report? Rafiq Nasrallah, Abu Dhabi TV, Beirut.
Rafiq Nasrallah, قناة أبو ظبي, بيروت.
Ibrahim Bahr al-Alloum, a member of the United Iraqi Alliance slate, which emerged victorious after the elections, said that members of his slate started negotiations with other slates in order to establish coalitions with them, stressing the importance of not forming the government on a sectarian foundation. Al-Alloum said that the United Iraqi Alliance has established a 9-person committee that started negotiations with other slates last Thursday in order to discuss ways in which coalitions can be formed and to schedule the first meeting for the National Assembly. Voices calling for establishing a federation in the south are becoming louder as the new political scene in Iraq stabilizes. The announcement of the winners of the National Assembly seats from the 3 southern cities, Al-Basra, Al-Amara, and Al-Nasiriyah, has given momentum to the idea of a federation. Talk of a federation dominated a big share of the initial negotiations which preceded the elections by months, and now it has come back as the main focus.
الآن تجري مناقشات سرية بين القائمة الائتلاف حول تشكيل حكومة جديدة.
Secret negotiations are ongoing among the United Iraqi Alliance about the establishment of a new government. This issue was brought up in these negotiations. There were also side negotiations between my brothers from Al-Basra and Al-Amara, as well as other prominent figures who have futures in the new Iraqi government.
سياسية بارزة لها مستقبل في الحكومة العراقية الجديدة.
وبالنظر لما يتمتع به الجنوب من ثروات طبيعية.
The South is very important geographically, as it has crucial natural resources including oil, the only ports linking Iraq to the outside world, and a large human and agricultural resources. Thus, presenting the idea of a federation raises a lot of concerns and fears among some people, especially at this time, because it may have negative effects on the future of Iraq.
We should have a federal system that strengthens the unity of the country. The idea of a federation should be presented very carefully so people can learn about it and decide if it is the right kind of government.
We want a central federation which would fulfill the demands of those living in the Kurdish region, the southern region, the middle region, and our brothers in the western region of Iraq.
Because of the temporary administrative law, such an idea must be approved through a referendum in all the 3 cities that will be included within this federation, and a majority vote is needed. Those who support the idea of having a federal system say that it is the ideal way to put the past behind. However, those who have reservations say that it increases the pressure on the Iraqi people, at least for now. Despite these differing opinions, ordinary Iraqis, as well as the new Iraqi constitution, will have the final say. From Al Basra City, Hussein Abdul Wahab, Abu Dhabi Television.
His Majesty King Abdullah held talks with German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder at the start of a visit to Germany, the last leg of his current European tour. The talks between the 2 leaders in Berlin centered on peace efforts in the Middle East, Iraq, and means to further cement bilateral ties. The king stressed the need to seize opportunities currently available to achieve peace between the Palestinians and Israelis based on the roadmap plan, which calls for the establishment of a viable Palestinian state in return for a secure Israel. At a joint news conference with Schröder, the king urged the international community to provide enough support for the Palestinian people to help them rebuild their institutions and security organs. On Iraq, His Majesty reiterated the importance of assisting the Iraqi people to enable them to rebuild their country and regain its security and stability.
I would like to also thank you, Your Excellency, for outlining to everybody here the discussions that we've had today dealing on very important issues in the Middle East, mainly the future of the Israelis and the Palestinians, as well as that of Iraq. And as you pointed out, sir, I believe that we have a golden opportunity on the Israeli-Palestinian issue to move it forward. We are all optimistic at a good start that the Israelis and Palestinians have had, culminating hopefully next week in the March 1st meeting in London, which is the first of many series of Israelis and Palestinians coming together.
In Iraq, occupation forces have suffered more casualties in various insurgent attacks against their troops. 3 U.S. soldiers were killed and 6 wounded in a roadside bomb blast just north of the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. The U.S. military said these soldiers were on a foot patrol in the town of Tarmiya, 20 kilometers north of Baghdad, when the device detonated. Earlier today, the U.S. military said a U.S. Marine was killed yesterday but gave no further details. A Polish soldier died and 4 others were wounded after their vehicle crashed in south-central Iraq. And 5 mortars slammed into houses in the northern Iraqi city of Samarra, wounding at least 13 people. It was not clear what the target of the mortars was. Meanwhile, the Iraqi government said it had captured a key lieutenant of Abu Mus'ab al-Zarqawi, al-Qaeda's leader in Iraq, who has been behind some of the country's worst attacks. It said Talib Mikhlaf Arsan Walman al-Dulaymi, also known as Abu Qutayba, was captured on February 20 in Ana, a town northwest of Baghdad. Israel plans a housing construction boom in Jewish settlements in the West Bank to cement its hold on occupied land, although the Jewish state prepares for a Gaza pullout. A report in the Israeli Yed'ot Ahronot daily said that 6,391 homes for settlers were slated to be built this year. This sharp increase over 2004 drew a call from the Palestinians for U.S. pressure on Israel to drop any such plan in the interests of peace. Responding to the report, Israeli Defense Minister Shaul Mofaz's office said in a terse statement that he had approved building permits for a, quote, limited number of housing units, end of quote, in settlement blocks. But the statement gave no figures. Palestinian chief negotiator Saeb Ariqat said the construction would violate a US-backed peace roadmap that calls on Israel to cease all settlement activity on territory captured in the 1967 Arab-Israeli War. Iran's chief nuclear negotiator has said he was confident that talks with European countries, Britain, France and Germany on Iran's nuclear program would yield positive results in March. Hassan Rouhani made the remarks following talks with German Foreign Minister Joschka Fischer in Berlin. The remarks also come after U.S. President George W. Bush welcomed during his three-nation European tour this week diplomatic efforts by Europe to curb Iran's nuclear program, but refused requests to join the talks. Britain, France and Germany are leading European diplomatic efforts to persuade Iran to scrap uranium enrichment, a process which can be used to make fuel for nuclear power plants or bomb-grade material. Fischer was somewhat less upbeat, stressing the need for goal-oriented talks, saying it was not easy but rather a tough challenge.
The first of 500 Palestinian prisoners have been freed by Israel. They were released as part of a ceasefire deal agreed between the two sides earlier this month. Palestinians have demanded Israel free many more of the estimated 7,500 prisoners still held in its jails. Rani Elabed takes a look at what's been happening.
Early today, 14 buses escorted by police and ambulances were seen leaving the military prison camp at Kitzjot in southern Israel's Negev desert. Some of the passengers tried to wave at news crews as they drove past, despite their manacled hands. Families and friends in Tarkumiyya welcomed the released prisoners, greeting them with kisses. It was an emotional time for these reunited families. Israeli military officials said that by midday, all 500 prisoners were expected to have been delivered to drop-off points on the edges of Gaza Strip and West Bank. The release came the day after Israel's cabinet took unilateral steps to determine its future borders, endorsing a pullout from all of Gaza. Controversially, it also strengthened its grip on parts of the West Bank. The cabinet approved the Israeli wall's route so that it would include at least 6% of the West Bank inside Israel, bypassing negotiations and angering Palestinians. This is Palestinian land and is claimed by the Palestinians